says it should be considered for hurricane relief aid too. And in sport, a Jamaican sprinter named on a Caribbean All-Stars team to take on TNT Red Force in a T20 charity match. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Friday, October 6th. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Near Boston, firefighters respond to a very unusual call. A cat's head is stuck in a sewer cover and can't get out, leaving these puzzled rescuers wondering what to do. Now, how do they free this kitty? It's not every day these firemen come across such a bizarre situation. They spot the litter below as they pour vegetable oil over the cat's head, hoping it will serve as a lubricant.
The police paid a recent visit to the Windward Tobago community of Glamorgan, but it wasn't because of an emergency. The police are seeking to create closer ties with local communities. They hosted the latest installment of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service community meeting. Residents had the opportunity to raise concerns about crime and policing in their area and offer solutions. The community says negligent parenting is a challenge in their area. They're also calling for greater police visibility.
Liat's chief executive officer says the financially strapped airline should also be considered for assistance as the region emerges from the devastation caused by Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Julie Reefer-Jones says Liat has suffered substantial loss as a result of the hurricanes, and discussions about relief efforts going forward should include help for the Antigua-based carrier. She made the suggestion on the sidelines of the presentation of a check for $550,000 from CIBC First Caribbean to assist Liat with evacuation flights and other forms of relief for 7 storm-battered territories: Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin and Turks and Caicos Islands. Reefer-Jones said loss to the carrier's network as a result of the recent storms has been estimated at about $4 and $6 million because of the removal of 4 territories out of the network overnight. Yet, she says Liat has so far completed 54 relief flights to affected countries, and those trips were mostly unfunded. And the airline's CEO acknowledged that with total bookings now down 24%, a review of Liat's operations is necessary in the wake of the hurricanes. Farmers in Dominica will soon get assistance to get back into the fields to produce much-needed crop. But Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is looking even beyond the domestic market and expects there will also be enough to export in a matter of months. Speaking at his daily press briefing this morning, he said seedlings will soon be distributed to farmers to get the process going.
But the whole idea is to get farmers back in the field post-haste. To start with the short-term crops, the beans, different type of beans, green beans, red beans, pink beans, cabbages, lettuce, put in pumpkins and cucumbers, things that we can harvest in 2 to 6 weeks, and have our own produce here to assure ourselves of food security, because we need to ensure that we can have our local vegetables and fruits. In respect to bananas and plantains, the harvesting of the banana and plantain suckers and getting the farmers on board to replant and so that in the next 7-8 months we can have plantains and bananas in the country, not only for domestic consumption but exports.
And Prime Minister Skerrit is tonight slated to outline to the nation a 12-point plan to help the economy recover from Maria. One sector of the economy will be listening especially closely to see what Prime Minister Skerrit, who's also the Minister of Finance, has in store for them. CMC's Kenton Chance, who is covering the aftermath of the storm, tells us who those stakeholders are and why the Prime Minister's address is especially important to them.
When Clyde Edwards got an opportunity to move his business to a prime location at Riverbank Rosa a decade ago, he did not hesitate. But after 2 extreme weather events over the past 2 years, he is beginning to wonder whether the location, once one of his biggest boons, is now his greatest liability.
Oh, as you can see, total loss. And that is really the second time in 2 years. In Erica, we got a serious hit, and then this one is worse than Erica.
M&C Super Sprite is just one of thousands of small businesses across Dominica that have been decimated by Hurricane Maria. And while Tropical Storm Erica also affected many of these same businesses in 2015, Maria showed that she was in a category of her own.
In Erica, our storeroom was based below, downstairs, so that got flooded, but we never actually expected to see the level of water that came in.
But the most painful part of the damage and loss was that inflicted not by the storm itself.
And what happened is the looters came in after and they basically ravaged everything else. Because when I came in the Wednesday, the upper shelves had stuff, etc. And by Friday, the looters had actually forced that door open and they helped themselves to everything.
Almost 3 weeks after the storm, he is still trying to clean up and to put a value on the damage and loss.
Stay with us. Your midday sport is next.
Pan 2017 Regional 2 was a success despite frequent outbursts of rain throughout the day. The day started out slow, but by evening a sizable crowd had gathered at Folly Oval in Portland to enjoy succulent jerk chicken and feast on entertainment from popular entertainers. Patrons gave their views about the event.
Okay, so far I'm really enjoying it because this is pork from Jamaica pork. It's very good. It's soft and succulent.
A new single already gaining some momentum, and the love of TNT's people are just two reasons for St. Lucia's Teddyson Johns revved and ready to come back to Trinidad and Tobago for next year's carnival. He was part of One Island concert event held at the Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad, an effort aimed at helping those in need across the islands following the passage of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. John's new single, Mile High, is on the Jack Frost rhythm produced by Bass 8.
Jamaican sprinter Johan Blake has been named in a Caribbean All-Stars team set to take on TNT Red Force in a T20 charity match on October 14 at the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain, Trinidad. He will join a full-strength team, which includes the likes of fast bowler Fidel Edwards, Dwayne Smith, and former T20 World Cup winning captain Darren Sammy. The organizers are hoping to raise $1 million from the event. Ruskin Mark of C Sports gives the lineup of the team.
Another avenue for locals to make their contributions towards assisting those persons who would have lost significant portions of their worldly belongings and in some cases their loved ones. Many projects have been rendering assistance, and now the cricketers in the region are doing their part by participating in this match free of charge. The local team will be led by Kyron Pollard and includes the likes of the two Bravos, Dwayne and Darren, Dinesh Ramdin, Evan Lewis, One Seasfit, Riyad Emrit, Sunil Narayan and others, which represents one of the strongest local squads assembled in recent years. Jamaican sprinter Johan Blake has confirmed his participation in the event, and fellow sprinter Usain Bolt is still trying to clear his schedule to see if he can make an appearance for the Caribbean outfit. Darren Sammy will lead that outfit and can counter notables like Dwayne Smith, Andre Fletcher, Rovman Powell, Jerome Taylor and Fidel Edwards, making this an equally powerful lineup, which should make for a highly competitive encounter.
And staying in the Twin Island Republic, head coach of the national senior men's football team, Dennis Lawrence, says Trinidad and Tobago will be keeping their heads up against mighty Mexico, despite already suffering elimination from the 2018 CONCACAF World Cup qualifying campaign. In an article in the Newsday newspaper, Lawrence was quoted as saying that Mexico is a very difficult place to come and they are fully aware how powerful the Mexican team is. He added that they need to make sure they're very organized and they're going to give it their best. TNT will be playing only for pride when they take on the Confederation Giants on Friday in the penultimate match of the campaign. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.